Hi everyone, it's Catherine, and today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I am going to be talking about self-care, hence the username on my channel, Self-Care Catherine. Now, I feel like I haven't really dug deep about this topic, especially with the viewers that watch me just want to make sure that they're smelling good and they are making their house smell delicious. But I think it's more in depth of the point of what is self-care, which is what we're going to be talking about right now. Self-care is important to maintaining a healthy relationship with yourself. It means doing things to take care of our mind, bodies, and souls by engaging in activities that promote well-being and reduce stress. By doing so, this enhances our ability to live vibrantly, fully, and effectively. The practice of self-care also gives you a reminder for yourself and to others around you to ensure that your needs are validated and that you yourself are a priority. Let's go on to the topic of what isn't self-care. Knowing what self-care is also a very important thing because a lot of people get confused with like pampering versus having to smell good. Like that's just one of the positivities of self-care because we want to do it. It's not something that we force ourselves to do or to do something that we clearly don't enjoy. As Agnes Wayman explained, self-care is something that refuels us rather than takes from us. With the word self-care, it can be condescending to people that don't understand what the theoretics and concept of what self-care is. It's not selfish, okay? I think that's the most important thing. Being within yourself and understanding who you are and wanting to take care of your body mentally, spiritually, emotionally, which I will get to in a little bit later. It's understanding what we need to do in order to take care of ourselves, as well as being subsequently able to take care of others as well. And it's not just considering our own needs. So if you're not taking care of yourself, then you won't be able to take care of others, which is why I'm in grad school right now for social work. I am focusing more on mental health and health, and our professors and anyone like instructors and advisors always emphasize that if you are not taking care of yourself, then you will not be able to take care of other people out in this specific field, which is also why I love the concept of just making sure that you're one with yourself and that you can take a step back, understand the situation, and like, okay, I really need a break. I need something to just calm me down. And the most important thing is to check yourself because no one else is going to do that, you guys. Self-care is not synonymous with being indulgent or being selfish. It means to taking care of yourself so that you can be healthy, so you can be well, so you can do your job. You can do all the things you need to and accomplish within the day and for like the rest of your life. The next topic that I would like to say is that people think that self-care is a luxury and that they intertwine the words pampering and self-care together, like massages, long baths, pedicures, manicures. All of those fall under the category of pampering. But while all pampering falls under self-care, not all self-care is pampering. I read this amazing article by Tara Jefferson. All the resources that I use for this video will be in the description box below. She wrote about the differences between self-care and pampering, which I didn't even know most of this at first because I was just like, well, it's more of like a treat yourself, like I love treating myself, like we all do. Like I think that's more of like the luxury side of self-care. Jefferson says that sometimes self-care is simply setting boundaries. It's learning to say no when you really mean no. It's hyping yourself up with kind words and with the words of affirmations every day that you are healthy, you are wealthy, let's get this bread. The last thing that Jefferson really just spoke into my mind is that self-care is being your best advocate. It's ending those toxic and draining relationships with those people that you just can't seem to cut off yet just because you're holding that longing of you know them for so long, and it's just knowing that you had enough and you're going to be leaving that room. Whether it's a toxic friend, a significant other, a family member, with people that say blood is thicker than water, if you actually read the real meaning of it, back then when that term or that phrase was created, it was created by comrades. When comrades were dying next to each other in the battlefield, blood, that's what it signified. And then the water was like everything else, especially with your family. So I feel like with the terms of translation and the depth of that meaning, people really said that, oh, blood is thicker than water, like your own blood, but it's actually just the blood of the people who passed away serving their sovereignty. As I mentioned before, a lot of people assume that self-care is a luxury. Like they don't have time in the day to like take time for themselves because they have a family, they have a job, a full-time job, or they have school and they have work and they have to manage both sides of their life and their relationships with everyone. As more of a priority, it's seen as a luxury, especially to people who are not focused within the world that is very cold and harsh towards one another, and consequently they're left feeling so overwhelmed and ill-equipped to handle life's inevitable changes. But we're going to be talking about the different types of self-care. Did you guys know that? You guys probably did. I know you guys are smart. You guys are watching me. I'm smart, so you guys are smart. Yes, period, poo. There are 5 types of self-care. There's physical, there's emotional, there's social, there's spiritual, and there's mental. And I'm gonna go through them really quickly for you guys because this will be a super long video. So physical is fueling your body. How much sleep are you getting? Are you taking care of your body? This is more of like outwards appearance. This is why we're here, like the hygiene, the Bath and Body Works, the smells, the aromas. Are you attending your appointments? Are you going to the doctors and making sure that your health is in check? Are you getting enough sleep? I know you guys be sleeping late. You guys be watching my 5 a.m. videos that I upload, even though you guys are on the West Coast and it's like 2 a.m. there. I see you guys. Is your diet fueling your body well? The second one is social, and this one is more of like socialization. It's a key to self-care, but often it's hard to make time for friends, and it's easy to neglect your relationships when life gets busy. Close connections are important to your well-being. The way to cultivate and maintain close relationships is to put time and energy into building your relationships with others, rather than it be like your colleagues at work. If you want to mind your business, mind your business. But I know there are people that don't have as many of a tight-knit circle, or like they just have a lot more friends and they're just like, well, this is very overwhelming. You just got to make sure that you're getting enough quality time with your friends, with your family, with your children, with anything around you that you deem that is important, and you just haven't had that sufficient amount of time to just chat with them one-on-one, ask them how they're doing, and then they'll probably ask you how you're doing, and have a sentimental time together and experience that social connection between, you know, a human and a human. The third one is mental health. Now, we love seeing clothes, the fits, the jewelry, the hair, the makeup, but really mental self-care is something that's just so important, including things to keep your mind sharp, like puzzles or learning a subject that fascinates you, maybe learning a new language, maybe watching a movie in a different audio. Like that's sometimes what I will do. You might find reading books or watching movies that inspire you to think, and mental self-care helps you do things that help you stay mentally healthy. How physical health is deemed more important than mental health. While you can take a sick day off because you have the flu or corona, but once you have like anxiety or a panic attack, they're just like, oh, are you still coming into work? It's insane. But practicing self-compassion and acceptance and making sure you're having enough time for the activities that mentally stimulate you. The fourth one is emotional, and this is actually one of the harder concepts of self-care that I'm still trying to figure out myself. I'm still working on it. With past and everything, a lot of people have dealt with stress from certain triggers that they can just defy, and you can just go completely numb, and you can't really just, connect with yourself emotionally. So I think that it's important to have healthy coping skills to deal with those uncomfortable emotions that you just don't understand and have a hard time controlling. For example, anger, anxiety, sadness. Emotional self-care includes activities that help you acknowledge and express your feelings on a regular basis. Whether you talk to your significant other or your close friend about how you feel, set aside for leisure activities to help you process your emotions. It's important to incorporate emotional self-care into your life. A couple of questions you should ask yourself when you're trying to strategize your emotional self-care is, do you have healthy ways to process your emotions? And if you don't, what are the ways that you do? So you can just write it down or just type it on your computer and just really get those feelings flow. Lastly is spiritual. And research shows that a lifestyle including spirituality or religion is generally a healthier lifestyle. And it doesn't specifically have to say, oh, you should go to church or you should like follow a certain religion. This is more of like nurturing your spirit. It can involve anything that helps you develop a deeper sense of meaning, understanding, or connection with the universe. If you just want to give those positive vibes out to the world, that's what I've been trying to do, as you are saying some words of affirmation to yourself, as well as just being one with like the earth that we're living in. Spiritual self-care is important as well, and I think that's one of like the back burners. Next up is the barriers to self-care. I know a lot of you guys are busy, you guys have stuff in your lives to do. We all got it, okay? I know that we all individually have better things to do, assuming that we don't need that extra time to do some self-care. A statistic shown that only 35% believe self-care is only possible for those with enough money. Now, we aren't told that we shouldn't take care of ourselves, but that we should only after work is done and the house is clean and that the children are in bed or that your significant other has been fed, but we really end up depleting ourselves. We're burnt out because we're not giving to ourselves the way that we need to. It took me a long time to realize that it's actually a selfish action not to engage in self-care. Let me explain why. Because in order to take care of the people around us in our lives, you have to take care of yourself. And I read this quote in one of the articles that I will have down below. It's a comfort to people around us when they see us in control of ourselves. So it's not selfish to be able to do the things that we need to do to be present and energetic and available to others. Now you guys are probably curious, well, I don't have the time. Felt this way before a while back. When I was getting my bachelor's in social work, I had a field instructor, and when I asked her, how do you manage to fit self-care into your routine? Like, how do you do that? Like, you're so busy. And she mentioned that the one best tip is to plan it. If you guys are planners, like those weekly organization things that you're just like, oh, at this time I have this, at this time you're doing this, because I know you guys are busy and you guys are baddies, okay? You guys are some boss ass bitches, okay? Like, that's the thing. I know you guys are getting that coin, you're gonna get that check, and we're gonna step out, okay? That's the goal in life. But self-care isn't a one size fits all strategy. So, and it's important to plan it down. So after work, maybe get your groceries, do your dinner, and then take care of that evening. Have that evening to yourself. And you're like, this is the time for me. I'm going to just take care of myself. With your self-care plan, it will be customized to your needs and how you do it. Maybe you can do it in the morning, or maybe you can do it in the afternoon during lunch. Like, the possibilities are endless, you guys. As long as you are jotting it down, you have to make time for it. And I think that's the best ways to implement self-care into your life. So I actually do have a couple of worksheets down in the below. I have done these myself. They're really easy to fill out, and they're the best templates to just write down a plan. Like, what is your self-care plan? What do you want to do in the next couple of months? Like, what is your goals? What do you want to do for spiritual? And there's also some inventory as well. So if you see one of the sheets right here, it just says spiritual, and then I'll say like, do you do this? And you put like numbers right next to it. So I think those will be helpful for you guys if you do want to check it out. Honestly, with these sheets, and if you do them, you don't have to do it all at once. Identify one small step that you do notice into your life, and you can start that and begin to take care of yourself better. All in all, self-care is a major priority, and I solely highly advocate for it, just because I've seen so many people get burnt out, stressed, mentally stressed, and it's really hard to take that time and to squeeze in another thing into your schedule. But you guys, we need it. We're human beings. We're not perfect. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was formal and a little bit of informal, because, you know, I'm still learning how to be a professional, but I still want to be myself, because this is a YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.